Hello everyone, my name is Ernest, and I'm the guy who is making Demon's Souls. It's a Souls-like roguelike game which is made with no code. Uh, to make it, I used Game Creator. It's just amazing asset that allows you a lot of possibilities to code pretty everything. It has a lot of models that can help you to handle the combat system, stat system, inventory, quests, etc. And they have Game Creator 2 released recently. It is even better system, but today I'm going to tell you about Game Creator 1. Because I spent 1.5 year making my Souls-like roguelike game with it, and I think I have something to share. At least usually the tutorials about Geek Creator are pretty basic, and what I'm going to tell you today is the tips that help me really a lot to change my mind how to work with Game Creator and how to squeeze the maximum out of it. So let's start. First one, uh, and really the best one. There is a really cool action called call methods. It's inside the general section. Call methods, yeah. It is basically allows you to specify an object, and then you can access any script that it's attached to that object and access any public function within it. So as you can see, you can command the camera to reset and do whenever public functions allow you to do with it. It's a really great thing that allows you even to trigger another actions. So let me try to, yeah, so I can access actions component, say execute, and boom, it will be executed without any other actions. I usually use it when I need to integrate something new. For example, I have a very great asset called Rayfire that provides procedural destruction of objects, and as you can see with my barrel destructible prefab, when object enters, when object with stack destructive enters this collider, I command the Rayfire component within the mesh to demolish, and it just demolishes. So call methods action, it's a great way to integrate other assets to work with the Game Creator. So it really helps you to do like a lot, and even more a lot of Game Creator components like buttons or weapons contain the analogs of call the methods action. For example, if I find my Fire Mage stuff, yeah, and go to the prefab, as you can see, inside the blade component there is a pretty similar to call the methods action UI. And what I do here, except of playing sounds and another, I command particle system to play the trail on the attack activation and to play the trail on the and stop playing it on the attack recovery, which basically, let me show you. So yeah, see, when I attack, the small trail, small effect is being played. So yeah, it's a really great way to work with particle systems and work with any other scripts without the need to code actions for it. So please give it a try, it's really great thing. So yeah, the second great thing is that as you may probably noticed, if you're trying to instantiate anything within the scene with the instantiate action, for example, I'm now trying to use a battle cry skill, so the effect is being instantiated within the root of that scene. Therefore, it won't be moved with your character or with anything else. It will just stay on the same place. What you can do about it is that you can go to the prefab that is being instantiated with that skill or action, whatever. Let me show it to you. Aura, white aura. So what you can do about it is that within that object you can create the trigger that on start triggers the changing parent. So yeah, with some actions of the game creator you can change parents, not the real ones actually. So please find the transform action. It has the ability to change parent. You just need to specify it, specify your object you want to change its parent, and specify the new parent. In this case it will be the player. Press save. So yeah, and now when I'm going to instantiate it, it actually moves with the player because the parent was changed on the very start when it was instantiated. Very cool. Advice number 3 will be not so game changing but it's really very important. So my advice to you, number 3, is that if you're working with inventory, be very careful with pressing duplicate buttons. There is a bug that doesn't 100% occurs, but it actually can break all your inventory system and you will have to reintegrate it and start your inventory from scratch. So yeah, if you're going to duplicate anything, please have a backup. I mean, really, have a backup. It killed my project 2 times during last year. I hope I hope after this video you will be protected from this. Advice number 4 is just to keep your project more clean, you can actually have actions with trigger inside one game object, and usually it works quite well, but be careful if you have some huge logic. It will be better to make it separately, like it does by default. But never ever duplicate melee clips. So it's my advice number 4 or 5. I don't remember, sorry. So just let me give you an example. So let me find you some kind of a weapon, sword, maybe soldier. Yeah, maybe soldier sword. Yeah. So yeah, for, let's see, I have simple sword 3 melee clip. Let me duplicate it with the hotkey. And if you add any action here, it will be also added to the initial melee clip. If you add any action to the initial melee clip, it will be also added to the new one. So it's really a big thing. Don't duplicate milli clips, create them from scratch all the time. In other case, you can end up with a lot of milli clips that that actually have one parent, and it will be a mess. The next couple of advices I want to tell you are not really about game creator, but if you are a no-code developer like me and you want to work with a game creator, I think they will be kinda helpful to you. So, if you are working with the milli clips and with any kind of animations, it is usually better to attach animations like separately, not from the packs that were imported initially. To do that, you can open the animation import settings like file, pick the animation itself and press Ctrl D or Command D to duplicate it, and it will be duplicated outside of that folder, and those checkboxes will be unblocked for you, so that you can for example trigger loop time to make running animations, or set up an offset if your animation is not being played properly and you need it to be like 10 and you need it to be like move to left, move to right, and also if your character is floating like 10 centimeters up the floor, it's usually good to set up the Y offset. So yeah, and if you try to make it within the initial folder, it won't allow you to do it. My next advice will be about the shooter model. I actually had a huge problem when my arrows that were shot from the player were actually colliding with the weapon and with the player itself, and I didn't want it to, and I tried to play with it, and I ended up with the realization that game creator can't do anything about it, but the Unity can. So what you can do, please pay attention, go to the player settings and check the physics tab. There is a table that allows you to set up the collisions of all layers you have in your project. And for example, arrows collides only with default, with water, with player, and with other arrows. So yeah, they don't collide with the transparent FX, for example, or with UI or with other characters. So those arrows are enemy arrows, and it really helps to make good projectiles and set them up properly. Please pay attention to this. It's really the most important thing when you work with the shooter model. And the next advice, I think it will be my last advice, is it will be about optimization. If you are working with point lights like me, be very careful when you are using models, because as you can see, if you have multiple light sources, one model can generate a lot of shadows, and for example for this one I have 4 shadows, and if there will be 3 enemies, there will be 12 shadows. So each shadow takes some processing power, and if you will have multiple light sources, this processing power will be just processing power needed will be just multiplied. So to make your project faster, please consider turning off casting shadows. Usually it drastically improves the performance, and it really helped me to optimize my game working with Game Creator. And yeah, regarding the optimization, if you're working with a game creator, you won't be able to optimize your code, and when your game will be somewhat finished, you may face the problem when your game will be freezed every 5 seconds of your playtime. And you can use the profiler to track this problem down, but most likely this problem will be caused by the garbage collection, and it usually helps to go to the player settings, to the player, and find the checkbox, this one, use incremental garbage collection. It makes all garbage collection process to be made within couple of frames instead of just one frame. So freezes will not be, so you will not have freezes with this checkbox checked, unless your project is like have enormous amount of garbage. But I think it's kind of hard to reach even you try even if you give it a try. So I think that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope it was somewhat helpful to you. And if you are interested what you can do with no-code instruments and with Game Creator, you can find my game Demon Source on the Steam and take a look. It's a completely free and playable demo right now with the safe load system and with like almost all systems that I want to be implemented. So yeah, give it a try and leave a feedback. Have a nice day.